So let's take a look at the history of Israel and the attempts to undermine Israel and destroy it, and the failures of a myriad of peace processes, the last one which was really with the Clinton era. So let's begin on its creation. It's the 1940s. We see what happened with World War II and the almost annihilation of the Jewish faith.
That's right.
In and around Europe, thanks to Hitler, Mussolini, and other powers.
That's right, 6 million Jews. A lot of folks denying that this happened, Brian. That's why we wanted to focus right here first. Then we get the UN, the partition, and they call for two states. You get a Jewish state and an Arab. The Israelis agree with that. The Arabs disagree, Brian.
So take a look. This is the original setup, and it was immediately acknowledged. It was put out by the United Nations, giving the Jewish people a homeland. Immediately, Harry Truman says, we acknowledge it. What are you going to name it? Kind of surprised that they named it Israel. But just keep in mind, this was Israel, the green. Keep in mind, too, the international zone was governed pretty much by the British. The Jewish state is the orange. The green, and then you have here the different areas, and then you have the British in control. They're pretty much governing this, and really quick, they just said, this is not going to stand. The Arab world attacks, and there begins an immediate fight. But he's the original man. Ben Gurion is the founder and the first leader of Israel.
That's right, Brian. By 1948, Israel declares their independence.
Right. So then, immediately the Arab world reacts with a series of battles.
Right,
so let's switch.
So then you got the 6-Day War. During this war, Israel wins this, and they retake the West Bank, as well as the Gaza Strip, Brian.
Yep, and there was a 1948 war, too, where they tried to destroy it immediately, but they fought off 5 different Arab lands. But look at this. Can you believe that Israel, that small country, would fight off Jordan and Syria and Egypt, hold them all off, destroy them all, and take some buffer zones along the way, expanding their country? In 73, Lawrence, they were surprised by the Yom Kippur War and the attack.
Yeah, you got Syria as well as Egypt. They launch attack on Israel, and they're trying to take some territory that Israel already has, Brian.
Right. So they go ahead and attack. Israel would be caught off balance, but they would rally back and push everybody out with our last-minute help, thanks to Richard Nixon taking some initiative. Then this starts moving towards the Palestinians start rising up. The Intifada starts taking root in 1987. Non-stop covert attacks.
Yeah, Brian, so they don't like what's happening. They don't like what the land that they have. So inside of the government, there's an uprising, and the Palestinian people start attacking.
Right. So you have approximately 1,000 people uprising. The Israelis lose 3,200. The Palestinians lose a great number. The Intifada takes root. How's it going to be ameliorated? Well, there's going to be a peace movement, too. A major confrontation in 214 and 218. But when the peace movement comes into play, it is really an effort to give the Palestinians a state. And let's see how that goes. We try in 93 giving the Palestinians some autonomy.
So by 1995, there's an economic and political cooperation. They're trying to give them money. They're trying to give them parts of the territory, but the peace just doesn't work, Brian.
The Palestinian Liberty Organization is well represented, pretty much a secular group. Hamas would not like them. They're still at war with them, basically. They like to be in a Muslim extremist group, an Islamic extremist group. So Yasser Arafat is the face of the movement, and they start talking about a peace and coexisting together. Really kicks into gear with Bill Clinton getting between Ehud Barak and Yasser Arafat.
Yeah, so he invites them to Camp David to have this peace summit. And President Bill Clinton says that Yasser, he's the one who destroyed this entire agreement, Brian.
Yeah, there was a sense that if he cut a deal and acknowledged Israel's right to exist, he'd be killed. So he walks away from it. Clinton is still bitter to this day. And now there's further peace efforts that pretty much stalled since 2014. Originally, they talked about a West Bank and a bridge right over to Gaza. That would be Palestine. They just don't seem as though they wanted to do it. When Ariel Sharon pulled all these settlements and all the Israeli troops out of Gaza, they just gave it to the Palestinians. He went into a coma. He had some type of heart attack or stroke, went into a coma. They had it. The money flowed in, but it went to terror tunnels, and it went to the Hamas activity after an election. It didn't go to the Palestinian
So the big question
people.
right now is, Brian, as you know, to Gaza, it's a hotbed for terrorism. And now that Israel is going in with war right now, do they leave Gaza in control of the Palestinian Authority, or do they retake it?
Right.
Because it could still be left for a hotbed for terrorism.
Yeah, they do not want it, but they don't want Hamas to thrive there.